What's going on, y'all? It's Athletes Culture coming at you with another video. As we all know, the 2019 NBA playoffs are underway, and the first round are pretty much getting ready to round up. So I want to make a few predictions on what teams are going to make it out of the first round and into the semifinals. So we're going to start off with the Eastern Conference, and I have Milwaukee, Boston, Philadelphia, and Toronto being being the four teams making it out into the semifinals. And what's interesting about these semifinal matchups coming out east is I think this is going to be some of the most exciting brand of basketball that we're going to see. All four teams match up with each other pretty well. And what's crazy is the particular matchups. So for the semifinals, we're more than likely going to see Milwaukee versus Boston. And those two teams they match up tremendously well. All five players on the floor at all times can switch in different positions, very well coached teams, and it's going to be interesting to see, how those teams are going to respond. Both of them are led by a single player who is very outstanding. Boston has Kyrie, Milwaukee has Giannis. And then when we look at the Philadelphia and Toronto matchup, we see very two tough teams, two very physical teams. More so the Milwaukee and Boston teams, those are more so finesse, whereas the Philadelphia and Toronto teams, they're going to be more so of like a more physical style brand of basketball. And those two teams match up pretty well itself. But who I got projected winning out of those series and coming into the Eastern Conference Finals. Now, I don't usually like doing these because it's too far out to predict, but this is just from what I've seen and who I have going. I have Milwaukee beating Boston in 7 and Philly beating Toronto in 7. I think these are going to be 7-game series, both of them. Both teams match up, all four teams match up pretty well. So it's very tough to say who's going to come out and win which. Now, they say playoff basketball is all about matchups, which is true. It's all about matchups. And I would like to say when we start off with the Toronto and Philadelphia series, the matchup advantage really lends itself on over to the Philadelphia 76ers. They have the matchup advantage. Now, you can argue and say Toronto has a deeper bench, which they do. They're playing about 8 men deep. I see so. Whereas Philadelphia can go about 6 to 7 deep. Well, I just got to say there's just so much firepower coming from that starting five in Philadelphia that, I don't see anybody on Toronto handling Joel Embiid. Now, I have them winning the series, but this is all going to be predicated on the health of Joel Embiid. Now, if Embiid misses any time during this series, give that series nod to Toronto. I'm just going to put that out there. But if he plays every single game that they have, I have to give the edge to Philadelphia. Embiid, man, he's a stud. He's a handful. He is a handful. And I don't see Gasol, Siakam, or even Ibaka off the bench being able to do anything with Joel Embiid. So I have to give that nod to Philadelphia. Also, too, Ben Simmons has been playing phenomenal. But, when you look at that series against Toronto, he's going to be put in a straitjacket against Pascal Siakam. I don't know if he's ready for the type of physicality and the energy Siakam's going to be able to bring to him at both ends of the floor, because I see those two being the matchup. Also, too, Jimmy Butler's going to be huge and vital for this series. I look to him definitely being one of the difference makers in the series, being able to defend and knock down shots. He's going to be thrown at Kawhi Leonard, so he's going to be tasked at slowing him down as well as putting pressure on Toronto to try to slow him down offensively. But moreover, I still got the edge going to Philadelphia just because of that firepower they have on the starting five. And if they can get a little bit of support from their bench, from players like Mike Scott, if they can come in and knock down some shots, while other key components catch a breather, definitely Philadelphia is going to edge them out and be in the Eastern Conference Finals. Now, for the Milwaukee and Boston series, I definitely have. This is my choice because he's the MVP candidate. I have Giannis Antetokounmpo leading the Milwaukee Bucks past the Boston Celtics in 7. And same as, with the Toronto and Philly series, Milwaukee and Boston match up with each other very well. They're very finesse style of play. Both those teams can stretch the floor. They have 3-point shooters on both ends of the floor. So, still it's going to come down to who can slow down Giannis Antetokounmpo, and I don't see anybody on that Boston Celtics roster. I mean, they're a pretty deep team too as well. They got Marcus Morris and Terry Rozier coming off in the bench, and these are players that could start on any other team in the NBA. So Boston can legitimately go about 7 to 8 deep, and yet I still don't see any of that being enough to defeat Milwaukee. Now, Kyrie, this is going to be a telling series for him, and I think actually if he can play phenomenal, and I'm talking about he has to average 30 plus in this series, 30 plus, Boston may be able to pull it out, but I really don't see that happening. I mean, Eric Bledsoe is a pretty physical player, but Kyrie's still going to have his way with him. Chris Middleton and Jason Tatum are definitely going to go at it. But still, moreover, Al Horford isn't going to be able to do anything with Giannis Antetokounmpo. Aaron Baines isn't going to be able to pack it in to help because Brook Lopez is going to be able to stretch the floor and hit 3 after 3 on him. So definitely Milwaukee is going to have the edge over Boston. But at the same token, it all predicates on health. Everything predicates on health. If Giannis stays healthy in this series, then for sure Milwaukee has it. If he's not healthy, well, then we all know Boston has it. But coming out into the Eastern Conference Finals, we're definitely going to see Philadelphia, Milwaukee. I think those are the two teams that are going to come out in the Eastern Conference Finals. But when you look at the future outlook of these upcoming Eastern Conference semis, it's going to be very detailing on what goes on this summer. This may be Kyrie's last time as a Boston Celtic, Kawhi's last outing as a Raptor, and definitely in the Philadelphia-Toronto series, this is going to be telling whether Philadelphia keeps Tobias Harris or keeps Jimmy Butler. Careers are going to be decided in this next round coming up. So it's going to be very interesting brand of basketball, and, it's going to be quite exciting for the fans because I have both series going into Game 7. But I want to hear what y'all have to say. Like, comment, and subscribe down below. I'm out.